speaking to Gary O'Neill after the game, he said if there was that type of chance fell to anyone in his squad, it would be him. He said technically he's outstanding. And having spoken to Sarabia as well, mentally he seemed very mature. He seemed very aware that he has to keep fighting. He has to keep focused on maintaining a standard of performance in training, even if he's not selected to start. So, yeah, it was nice to see him be humble after that massive impact he had in the game. And like I said, we've got to discuss that goal, because I think if it's a more glamorous names, in the greatest respect to him, it's definitely been documented a lot more. But the skill involved, because I don't even think the initial pass was meant for him, but the way he kind of absorbed the touch in motion and then didn't change strides, and lucky enough to see the replays, and you see the level of focus increase. As soon as he takes the first touch, you can see him like calm himself down, focus his eye, and the technique was outstanding.
You wanted to pick out a Spurs player as well as a Wolves player from that game, and a lot of change, a lot of absence, particularly in that back line for Tottenham that has been so good this season. It was basically a new back line for them. They coped really well for most of the game, and I know that Ben Davies in particular really impressed you.
Definitely, yeah. Again, I think it's difficult to come in when you haven't played as regular. He's been injured, so this is probably the first week he's trained in a number of weeks. He hasn't featured as much as he likes. It's a different style, and they came in, him and Eric Dyer, to be honest, did exceptionally well for large periods of the game. Bit of brilliance obviously led to them conceding, but in regards to Ben Davies, I think players that come in out of the cold, because he wasn't just injured, I'm not sure he was going to play if he was fit. So that's a huge thing to do in terms of getting yourself physically right, but also mentally, because you have to make sure you're ready to play, even though you don't know when that chance is going to come. It came soon after an injury, but yeah, I thought he was very solid, made good decisions defensively, and as I said, didn't get caught in the kind of races that we'd seen earlier in the week against Chelsea. I think he defended in the same way that Ange wanted, but within his own attributes, which is very important.
Moving on, another man who got himself on the score sheet twice, actually, Dominic Solanke. And he's had an interesting career, hasn't he, Dom Solanke? He came through as a youngster, a lot of hype around him, people, maybe linking him potential England number 9, and he's played for some big clubs. It hasn't quite clicked for him. He's had to go back down into the Championship, come back up. And I guess he would still have some question in his goal-scoring ability, but Andoni Iraola, the Bournemouth manager, absolutely heaped praise on him, said he's a brilliant character. And even though he missed a couple of chances, kept his head down, scored a couple in the end. Why is Dom Solanke, why is he still at Premier League level, despite the struggles he's had? Is it his character or his quality or both?
I think it's a combination of everything. I think he's found a home. I think he seems settled there. So it helped that he was there. They went down, he stayed there, and he kind of transitioned back. So he's familiar with the fans, and obviously there's an expectation on every striker. But I think it's easier when you've been at a team for longer and they understand that your importance isn't just goals. Like, they rely on him to score, obviously, but he has a huge impact on how they perform due to his quality and his ability to kind of press and work out of possession. So yeah, there's a lot of factors to why he obviously is there and he's able to perform for Bournemouth, but I think his role for Bournemouth outweighs his goal contribution.
Liverpool just continuing to tick along quietly, aren't they? They're within a point of top spot, and they really are. It's hard to rule them out given their pedigree, and especially when Mo Salah is in the form that he is. Another 2 goals for him. I know that Jurgen Klopp praised Darwin Núñez's work rate off the ball in this game in particular, but you can just set your watch to Salah, don't you? I mean, he scores 2 goals and you don't bat an eyelid, which just tells you everything you need to know about him. Oh
yeah, I think Liverpool are going very quietly under the radar. I know they're second, and I know people recognise that they are second, but I'm not sure they're getting enough kind of hype around the challenge that and the threat they pose. I think if it was City Arsenal, I think it'd be a lot more documented than Liverpool, and I'm not sure if they're happy about that or they kind of want a bit more credit. But Salah is someone else that probably goes under the radar. I think he's an exceptional player. His contribution to Liverpool and the Premier League can never be questioned. And I've spoke a lot about availability, and I don't think there's anyone better. I don't think there's anyone that is able to perform to their maximum, and his level is ridiculously high, by the way. But to perform to his maximum capabilities every game, like, it is outrageously hard to do what he's doing in terms of just maintaining the level that you've set yourself. Never mind reaching the level that he set, but just being able to perform and contribute week in, week out, season after season for, what is it now, 7 years? I think he's missed like a handful of games in the time he's been at Liverpool, which again, I don't know for certain, but I think since he's been at Liverpool, I don't think anyone's been available for any more games than he has, and that's goalkeepers as well. So yeah, he deserves a lot of credit for the way he conducts himself.
Okay, Cole Palmer, we've already touched on him when we talk about the England call-ups, and you say, you know, how well he's handled his big move. I just wanted to ask you a little bit more about the character of Cole, because when you see him in these interviews, he's just so hard to read, I suppose. He's very, you know, keeps himself to himself, very short answers, very confident young lad. But, you know, I mean, on the pitch, he has a swagger about him, doesn't he? And almost an arrogance. Is he an arrogant guy, or is that just a football thing?
I think he's just a young lad that has a simple process and just wants to play football. Like, he loves the game, just wants to play and would play every day. Literally would play a game every day if he could. And his temperament in interviews is how his performance is. Like, you can't expect him to be upbeat in an interview when you need him to be ice cold in the last minute of a game to score a penalty. So he's very consistent in his behavior. Like, that's what you would want. But from us as fans, want to see more in an interview or want to see more. But no, that's why he's the person he is, and that's why when he gets a pen in the last minute in arguably his biggest league game, he would just step up and it would never be in doubt. Like, them moments, that is what he enjoys the most. That's probably when he's at his calmest, when the responsibility and the eyes are on him for a positive reason. So yeah, like, it's refreshing to see someone that, and obviously I know him, it's refreshing to see someone that is just dedicated and just to the craft and just wants to play and just wants to perform to his best capabilities.